These days, when Christians hear someone say about the Great Tribulation, and if somebody says you have to flee the Great Tribulation, then they get very suspicious. And they think that whoever says those things, they are heresies. They are strange cult members. But actually, Jesus said in the Bible that you have to flee the Great Tribulation. So this is Matthew chapter 26, verse 16 to 22. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him who is on the housetop not go down to take anything out of his house, and let him who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. And pray that your flight may not be in winter or on the Sabbath. For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. So he's talking about the great tribulation here. And then he's saying to flee from the great tribulation. So he says, pray that your flight may not be in winter or on the Sabbath. So you have to flee the great tribulation. And some people, when they read these verses, they might think that, oh, Jesus is just talking to the Jewish people living in Israel. Because he says, let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. But that's not the case, because the great tribulation will come upon the whole earth, not just in Israel. That's why it says, and unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. So, because the great tribulation will be for the whole world, that's why it says no flesh would be saved. Because if the great tribulation is too long, then nobody will endure the torture and nobody would be saved. So that's why no flesh, that means nobody in this world will be saved. So that's why the Great Tribulation will be on the whole world. So Jesus is talking to the people in the whole world, not just Israel. And also, this is Luke chapter 21, verse 36. Watch therefore, and pray always that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. So, before this verse, Jesus was explaining about the Great Tribulation and his return. So he says here, escape all these things. That means escape the Great Tribulation. So the Great Tribulation is something you have to escape from, and you have to flee. So why do you have to flee the Great Tribulation? Because in the Great Tribulation, there will be terrible torture by the people who worship the Antichrist. So if you want to be saved in the Great Tribulation, you have to endure whatever they throw at you. So they're not going to just kill you, because death is not very meaningful to Satan. What's meaningful to Satan is your salvation. So to subdue your will to resist the Antichrist and to lose salvation, the Antichrist followers will do whatever it takes to your body so that you can succumb to their demands and worship the Antichrist and receive his mark. So to be saved in the Great Tribulation, you have to endure through all the torture. So it will be just like in hell. So in hell, demons can do whatever with the soul. So they can chew them up, they can throw them into fire, they can boil them, whatever they can do to the soul. So it will be the same thing in the Great Tribulation. So without killing you, as long as possible, they will try to torture you to break your will, to force you to worship the Antichrist. So the Great Tribulation is for 3.5 years. So it will be just like going to hell for 3.5 years. So is there anybody who are watching this video who are willing to go to hell for 3.5 years? Then you should fear the Great Tribulation as much as hell itself. But these days, the Christians are very, they think naively about the Great Tribulation, and they think it's something you can just endure very easily. So you have to realize that the Great Tribulation is the most terrible thing that can happen to you for 3.5 years. So that's why Jesus said no one will be able to resist and be saved if those days are not shortened. So you have to pray to God so that He can spare you from going through the Great Tribulation. So if you not only believe Jesus, but repent from all sins and decide to follow Jesus and give your life to Jesus, then if you ask God to help you flee the Great Tribulation, then He will guide you. He will tell you everything so that you can flee the Great Tribulation. I wish you blessings from the Lord.